Good morning, students. Today we are learn about resultant force. Welcome to the learning point. So, in previous lecture we will describe unit of force, all these things, and this is your assignment from last 16/4/20 dates. And today we will start the resultant force. Resultant force. What is this result? What is resultant force? In many situation or many times more than one force act on a body at the same time. All these forces collectively produce the same effects in the body as if a single force is acting on a body. Like this is the object, and this object force applied from this direction, here, force applied from this direction here, force applied from this direction here. This force is F1, this force is F2, this force is F3. Okay, so collectively force are equal to one force, that is called F, and this F force is called a resultant force. Understand? This is called such as a single force is called a resultant force. So we can say that such a single force is called the resultant force. So the concept of resultant force is the resultant force of the force F1, F2 and F3. So I will write here the concept of result the concept of resultant force. F is F is the resultant force of the forces F1, F2, F3. Understand? So what is the correct definition of resultant force? I will write here and you can also understand. This is the definition of resultant force. Definition of the resultant force: the single force which acts the single force which act, acts on a body to produce the same effects in it as done by all by all the forces collectively is collectively is called the resultant force. So what do you understand by this diagram? This is the object and force applied by this direction, F1 force, and F2 force applied by this direction, and F2 force applied by, and F2 from this direction, F3 in this direction. So all the collective forces applied from this object, and F is the resultant force. So F is equal to F1 plus F2 plus F3. So all these F1, F2, F3 is the collectively force applied from this object. So we can say that this is the F is the resultant force. Okay, and the next, what is the case? There is three case of resultant force. Case number one, So when two when two forces acts along acts along the same line, the same line in the same direction, in the same direction. Okay, case number first, when the two forces act along the same line in the same direction. Like this, I will make a diagram. This is the object, this is the object, and force applied from this direction. Okay, understand, this force is 100 Newton. So you can say what is N represent the unit of force, Newton. Okay, unit of force. So 100 Newton force applied from this direction, and also someone force apply from also this direction. So 150 Newton, 150 Newton. Okay, so both forces, this is F1 force, this is F2 force, and what is the resultant, where is the resultant force? So object is here and F is here. So this one and this one add to the resultant force. So F is equal to F1 plus F2, and what is the net resultant force? So 100 Newton, 100 Newton plus 150 Newton is equal to 250 Newton. So this is the resultant force of these object. Okay, so this is the case number first, and we will move again. Case number 2, case number 2, in this case, when the two forces acts along the acts along the same line, when the two forces acts along the same line but in opposite direction. And in a previous case, here, in previous case, in the same direction, and case number 2, but in opposite direction. So this is the big difference between two cases. In this case, object is here, force applied from this direction, this is 200 Newton force applied from this direction, and in this way, not this direction, this direction, and force applied from this direction. So both forces are opposite, 100 Newton force from this direction. So 200 Newton force from this direction and 100 Newton from this direction. So what is the net resultant force? So we will write here resultant force is equal to 200 Newton minus 100 Newton, so is equal to 100 Newton. This is the resultant force of this object. Okay, understand? If again you can understand by this diagram, if the object is here, same force applied from this direction and same force applied from this direction, what is the resultant force or net resultant force of this object? So we will write here resultant force is equal to F minus F is equal to 0. Understand? So students, today's assignment for you, question 1, only one question for you. Two boys pull a rope from the two ends with a force is equal to 250 Newton each. What is the resultant force? Okay, this is the first question. Okay, and second question, two boys pull a rope from the two ends with a force is equal to 100 Newton each. Again, what is the resultant force? Okay, question number 3, this is the object, force applied from this direction, 100 Newton force. Okay, sorry, 100 Newton force from this direction and 200 Newton force from this direction. What is the resultant force? Okay, question number 4, this is the object, force applied from this direction, 250 Newton force from this direction, and this direction 50 Newton force. What is the resultant force in this question? So here is 4 questions for you. Assignment for today's assignment number 4. This is assignment number 4 and date 23/4/2020. If you are watching this video, you can also comment in comment section with your name and class section. Okay, and today's topic is resultant force and its definition and its cases. Okay, thank you.